This is quite the interesting start. I started this series early this morning and I was like, wow, I actually really like these first 5 chapters. I kind of want to talk about that. So here I am sitting down recording a overall first impressions of this series. And so let's get right into it. What is Reality Quest about? What is the synopsis? What are the characters doing? What is the overarching goal? What is going on within this story? And is it something that might actually get your interest? So let's start off with the beginning. The first chapter, and basically what really kind of got my attention, and that is the fact that the main character straight up dies to just gaming too much. Like, he straight up just dies. And I think that this is an interesting way to start a series, because it's like, okay, this man literally worked himself to the point, or played games to the point, so to speak, to where he died of exhaustion, he died of, like, you know, lack of food, so to speak, or good nutrients, too much caffeine. It legit, like, he had a heart attack, so to speak, at his desk. And I was just like, okay, that is, wow, what a start. What a kind of a dark way to really start the series. But let's get into kind of how all this happened and, you know, who our character actually is. So, the story of Reality Quest is basically our main male character. He's a gamer. Obviously, he dies to gaming. He likes to play games, that's what he wants to do, and you see this man at the beginning, he has multiple different, like, tablets and phone screens in front of him. He's messing with a bunch of different things, just playing multiple games at once. He's pretty impressive. Honestly, all things considered, just looking at what he's able to accomplish and do, it's pretty ridiculous. The man obviously has a lot of talent, a lot of skill, and he definitely loves to play games, and he kind of turned that into a little bit more of a hobby/job, so to speak, and basically he has multiple people in his school environment that say, hey, you know, could you play this game for me, get this item that I need, so to speak, and that's what they've been basically doing. And one of these individuals that obviously he's helping out is a bully. Now, this is a typical kind of story point in a lot of different stories, manga, webtoon, etc. And obviously you have this character that is bullying the MC and saying, you need to get this so-and-so item for me within a given time, or obviously he's going to get the crap beat out of him. That's pretty much case in point. And so as he, you know, he's doing this little ordeal, he's trying to farm these items, etc. You have this girl that he has kind of a crush on, one of the beautifulest girls in school. No, she starts to talk with him. He gets a little bit mesmerized. He's like, yo, she's very beautiful. He's happy that she's talking with him. And then, you know, he wonders if she even knows his name, or she's just doing this out of pity or whatever. But eventually, you know, she does say his name, and it kind of proves that obviously she doesn't look down on him. She does kind of, you know, in her own way respect him to even know his name and recognize him. And so basically from that little exchange, you have it to where, you know, the main character being distracted, he cost one of the people he's helping to lose an item. Their character dies and one of their items is permanently lost, aka the bully. The bully notices this, he's very upset, so basically he just takes it out on the MC and is like, hey, you lost my item and all that, beat the crap out of him, and he's like, you know what, since you did all this, you know, I want this so-and-so item in this other game within a week, and if you do not give me this item, well, you're about to have a very bad experience, so to speak, at life, and so you better get it for me. And so, obviously, that is where the first chapter goes. The main character has to spend, like, basically the next few days/week really focusing in on trying to farm this item for this school bully. Which goes into what I talked about at the beginning of this video, that he dies from exhaustion. The literal character that, you know, is forced to do all this, he dies because he's so hell-bent on getting this item, because obviously, you know, he's under immense stress. If he doesn't get this, he's about to really get the crap beat out of him. He doesn't want that, and so he goes to the absolute limit of his body, and then his body gives out and he dies. And it's just like, okay, that is sad, depressing, and just like, what's going to happen next? So, basically, Chapter 2 comes out. With Chapter 2 of Reality Quest, we are revealed that the MC has unlocked a second chance, so to speak. Basically, he was returned to the point in time right before he made that promise to the bully that he would get that item, and instead of following with that promise, he basically decides to fight back, which in turn, he wins. And the reason for this is because it's that typical RPG game mechanic, so to speak, with a little bit of a twist. Basically, the main character has abilities in the real world. He hasn't been reincarnated in like a separate world. It's not fantasy, so to speak. This man legit somehow has powers that is able to basically do what he wants. And his powers are very unique. And let's get into that first. His abilities are from literally every game he has played. And that is what caught my attention. I was like, okay, that's actually really cool. Because, like, basically there's a brief moment to where he's realizing that all the EXP that he's gained in games or level ups, etc., all came together into him. So basically, like, hypothetically, let's say he played, like, World of Warcraft, he played Final Fantasy, and he got max level characters, multiple max level characters. All that EXP just from those characters alone would go into him alone. That's not including other games, etc., rank up systems, all that. So, all these games he's played over the years, he gets all that EXP as soon as he managed to kind of go back in this point in time, and all the abilities from these games he has access to. AKA, like, maybe a portal gun from Portal. He could potentially use, like, fighting moves from famous fighting moves like Tekken or something from Dragon Ball, so to speak. He could use crazy stuff. Like, we even see him use a move later on that is a Street Fighter move. Like, he legit uses a Street Fighter move. So, it's not out of the realm of possibility we can, you know, not see, like, Hadouken or something like that in the future of the series. And I think that's really freaking cool that the series is going to be able to use these different moves and abilities from other games that all of us know and love. Like, obviously, he's probably played a vast majority of different genres, because it's clear by just the background alone, you could spy, like, Left 4 Dead, you could see Portal there, you could see Terraria, obviously, he's played Street Fighter, he's played RPG games, so we could assume Final Fantasy, maybe World of Warcraft, so it's just like, yo, he's got a really interesting power system, and that power system alone is what caught my attention. I was like, that is actually really cool. I want to see kind of what the offer will do with this, because it's clear by just the writer of, you know, Reality Quest, they are a huge fan of games. And I think that clearly just by the little references and stuff you see already in it, that the author is very well versed, loves to play games, and is going to incorporate a lot of this stuff in their writing, and I think that is a really good thing, because, I mean, if there is one thing I do like some good references, not gonna lie, and I hope that there is some very obscure references for games that maybe are very not known, so to speak, and people don't know about, that are incorporated into the actual story. But let's get into the overarching plot, what's going on right now. So basically with Chapter 3, 4, and 5, that's the current chapters that is kind of out you can read right now, you have it to where the main character, he has to follow this group of guys, or this one guy, and he gets in a situation where he's basically a bully, he's a part of a gang, and he's given an option to just basically follow the status quo and just leave things be, or basically get back at the bully. So he gets back at the bully, he completes his quest, so to speak, that is given to him, which in turn results in him meeting this new girl that is introduced that takes an interest in him. And there's some spicy content, so to speak, that happens with that girl, which I'll show on screen. I'm just like, yo, okay, like, whoa, that's actually kind of insane. And that is a quest he's literally given in Chapter 5. And I'm like, let me explain what exactly happens if he doesn't technically do these quests. So, we got one example, around Chapter 3 or so, of what happens if he doesn't do one. And basically, one example is that he didn't want to go with the bully to where the gang was, and he basically made up a story. He's like, oh, you know, I gotta go to my grandpa's or whatever. And basically, as soon as he denied it, he had a punishment happen to where he would feel like he was getting ran over, so to speak, in the Jewels area by a horde of bulls for an hour long. And you could instantly imagine, just in your mind, how painful that is. And so when you think about it like that, yeah, makes sense why you don't want to probably have a penalty, so to speak, for these quests. You'll definitely do these quests. So that leads into the next part about the series, is that even though technically he wasn't going to die from that penalty, and I'm willing to bet you eventually there will be penalties that will have something like that, the fact it isn't just going up to the extreme of like, oh, you're gonna die if you don't do this quest, I also respect that, because I think that there needs to be a line too, that maybe the penalties need to rack up if he continuously denies, you know, quest. I think that would be fine. But I just think that the series overall has a very interesting start. The spiciness at the end of Chapter 5 as well is pretty cool, and I think that the power system is fun. It's definitely not something we haven't seen before, but I think incorporating abilities and special moves from gaming is definitely something I like to see. And so that is my personal take on Reality Quest so far. So if you are interested in checking this story out and you want to read it for yourself, Link is in the description. But yeah, just check it out. It's pretty good. It's got like 40-something chapters right now, if you were unaware of that. I mean, I've only read the first 5 chapters, but it's pretty good. I really do like Reality Quest so far. I'm going to keep my eye on it, and as I keep reading it, I might make a follow-up video with it, but I guess I'll leave it at that for now. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and I give you any form of entertainment or a good recommendation, do leave me a comment down below and leave me a like as well. It does help me out a lot. And with that, Chibi out.